everyone, I'm Neat Sahone, and I'm here with the final color in Masters 25, talking about the best commons and uncommons for Masters 25 drafts. We're looking at green today. Let's start by looking at the three best uncommons in the format. The first one I think is Utopia Sprawl. It can only enchant the forest, but obviously you're playing green, so that shouldn't be a huge issue. And it's a pretty great card because it allows you to both ramp and fix for a single green mana. You get to add mana of any color to your mana pool. You do have to choose the color initially when you play Utopia Sprawl, worth noting. But after, you get to choose any color, and then it can add whatever mana it is you need. And that's very strong. This is the kind of format where, there's lots of bombs, lots of great efficient removal, where if you're playing green and you want to start your draft really open, taking a card like Utopia Sprawl is not a bad idea. It just gives you great fixing and great ramp all in one card for a single green mana. The next best green uncommon, I think, is Invigorate. Usually a combat trick wouldn't end up on a list like this. Combat tricks, they're good in aggressive decks. They're not so good in other decks. And they give you a big risk of getting 2 for 1, so if your opponent can interact with you, you're in real trouble. What makes Invigorate actually a very good uncommon is the fact that it can be free. Yeah, you give your opponent 3 life, but giving your creature +4/+4 for 0 mana out of nowhere is going to be very strong, especially early on in this format when people aren't really thinking about Invigorate. You can just blow them out of nowhere, kill their best creature with your invigorated creature. It's just a very strong combat trick, that you... On the flip side, if you're playing this format, be aware that your opponent can always have Invigorate and be casting it for free. Yes, again, they give you 3 life, but it's free. So keep that in mind when you're playing against people playing green as well. I think the best green uncommon is Rancor. It's just a great aura. I mean, auras, sort of like combat tricks, aren't always great because they open you up to getting 2 for 1 and things like that, but Rancor kind of solves that problem. It doesn't go away. It just keeps coming back to your hand and coming back to your hand, and you get to put it on creature after creature after creature, turning them into scarier threats, because they get trample and a power boost. And so Rancor, I think, is the best uncommon. Of the 3 of these, I think Rancor is the only one I would feel really great about first picking, but if you're the kind of person who really likes to keep yourself completely open and limited, especially in a format loaded with bombs, taking Utopia Sprawl first isn't the worst plan. In terms of the best commons, I think the third best is Cultivate. Green is just, in general, going to be very good at fixing and very good at ramping in this set, and that's good for green because there's lots of crazy things you can do with a bunch of mana in this format. And Cultivate is another example of that. For 3 mana, you get to ramp yourself up a basic land, and you get to search for another basic land, and they're just of any land type. So if you're running like one island and 1 plains, you can fetch them both with your Cultivate and suddenly have everything you need for the cards you splashed, in addition to ramping yourself up. The downside of a card like Cultivate is that it means you're taking off turn 3 to do that, but this format, while it definitely has some aggressive decks in it, most people are going to be trying to do big splashy things. I mean, that's kind of the point of this format. Most people aren't going to just be trying to run you over. If they are, Cultivate's going to look bad, but I think in most cases you'll have plenty of time to set up Cultivate. Next, we have Arbor Elf, which helps you ramp. It doesn't help you fix, but it works quite well with Utopia Sprawl. The 2 of them together can add 4 mana to your mana pool on turn 3, 4 additional mana than you would have had, which is pretty insane. And mana elves are always good. They help you ramp. This one, even on its own, just helps you play your 3-drop on turn 2, which is always good. And the best green common, I think, is Epic Confrontation. We saw it a little more recently. It's a good removal spell for green. You have big enough creatures. The stats boost isn't irrelevant, and it allows you to kill a lot of creatures while keeping your creature alive. You do have to worry about the usual things one has to worry about in, when you're looking at a board where your opponent has untapped lands and cards in their hand, because fight spells can get you 2 for 1 if your opponent has mana up and the ability to interact with whichever creature you're trying to give the stats boost to fight their creature. Interestingly, I think all 3 of these green commons are probably worth first picking. In some strange way, somehow I think the green commons ended up better than most of the green uncommons. And I guess I'm okay with that. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. For ramp decks, I mean, the fact that you can get multiple Arbor Elves and Cultivates pretty easily is nice. And for basically any green deck, Epic Confrontation is going to be pretty nice. So that does it for this video. That does it for these videos on my discussion of the best commons and uncommons in each color in the set. But it isn't the end of me discussing this limited format. I'm also going to do a video On the archetypes of the set, this is an interesting format in terms of archetypes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, about what each of the color pairs is trying to do, some of the combos that exist within each of them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it so others can enjoy it too. If you want to make sure you catch the rest of my Masters 25 content and all the rest of my limited content, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help make my channel even better, you can click on a Patreon link in the description below. Thanks for watching.